Okay, let's be honest for a second. Has the thought of being a Supreme Court justice ever, crossed your mind?
It has crossed mine, definitely.
Right. The gavel, the robe, those weighty decisions, it's got a certain,
A certain allure.
allure, yeah.
Yeah.
But we're ditching the Hollywood drama today. We're going to take a deep dive into what it really takes to climb that legal ladder. And for that, we're turning to RoleCatcher's in-depth career guide.
What I find so fascinating about this guide is how much it demystifies the journey.
Yeah.
Like, you might picture this secretive world, right? But they actually lay out the path with, honestly, it's surprisingly transparent.
Yeah.
The skills, the education, the experience, and it's all right there.
It's incredibly detailed, like scarily detailed. They break down everything even, like starting with entry-level rules.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we're talking daily tasks, example career paths. They even highlight that active listening make up almost 80% of a Supreme Court justice's job.
Really?
Yeah, did you know that?
I would not have guessed that, no.
I was surprised. What makes that skill so crucial at that high a level?
Well, you have to think about it. Supreme Court justices, they need to absorb all these nuanced arguments from, let's be honest, some of the best legal minds in the country.
Right.
So it's not just about knowing the law inside and out.
Right.
It's about understanding people,
Oh, okay.
their motivations, and all the potential ramifications of, every ruling.
Wow. So they're like deciphering years of legal precedent and like human experience all at once?
Exactly. It's a very human job, even though it seems very,
By the book.
Exactly.
Speaking of deciphering, let's talk tech.
Okay.
The guide mentions e-filing systems, online legal research. It seems even the Supreme Court isn't safe from the digital revolution.
Well, exactly. And that's a key takeaway, really, for anyone listening who's, thinking about this path.
Yeah.
Technology is totally reshaping the legal landscape. Aspiring judges, they need to be as comfortable with, legal databases and AI tools as they are with legal precedent.
Oh, for sure.
Which is, a lot to ask.
Yeah. And speaking of AI, we can't really ignore the elephant in the courtroom. Or should I say the
algorithm.
the algorithm on the bench. Remember that reverse matching system we talked about before?
Yes.
RoleCatcher highlights how AI is changing the job search itself. And this guide is like a prime example.
It's wild, isn't it?
It is.
Like, we've talked about before how AI can, personalize job recommendations, and here we see it, in action, even for aspiring Supreme Court justices.
Yeah.
This tech isn't just,
Yeah.
it's not just streamlining the process, it's changing how people connect with, their dream jobs.
It's like having a digital matchmaker for your career.
I know.
But let's not forget, even with all the tech, this is still a very competitive field, right?
Oh, absolutely.
The guide emphasizes that a law degree is just the first step. And not just any law degree. A Juris Doctor, a JD, is like the gold standard.
Absolutely. And that's where I think that RoleCatcher's honesty is really refreshing.
Yeah.
Because they don't sugarcoat the challenges here.
Right.
This path, it requires unwavering dedication. You have to have a genuine passion for the law.
Right.
And you have to be willing to put in the work, plain and simple.
They don't just prep you for a job. They prep you for a lifestyle.
Yeah.
A demanding high-stakes lifestyle that requires, incredible intellectual agility and this unwavering commitment to justice.
Yeah.
And that journey, it starts long before you ever even put on that black robe.
All right.
The guide highlights how even entry-level roles involve intense legal research, drafting those complex documents.
Oh, yeah.
Even observing actual trials.
It's true.
So for someone just starting out, right, what would you say are the most crucial skills to develop? Is it all just legal knowledge, or is there more to it?
So while, obviously legal expertise is essential, that's a given.
Right.
It's the critical thinking skills that really, I think, set aspiring judges apart. They need to analyze those complex cases, weigh the evidence objectively, and form judgments that are, based on legal principles and precedent.
It sounds like being a judge is equal parts legal scholar and courtroom detective.
Yes.
You're piecing together evidence, you're connecting the dots, and then ultimately delivering a verdict that, upholds justice. But it's not just about the law, is it? There's a human element at play too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You're right on the money there. The guide really does a good job, I think, of bringing to light the empathy part of this, which
Yeah.
is like, we don't talk about that enough, I think, especially with this profession.
Right.
Judges aren't dealing with like abstract legal theories. These are real people, real lives that are being impacted by their decisions.
It's a good reminder. Behind every single case, behind every motion, every legal precedent, there's a human story there.
Always.
And judges need to approach each case with, like, that awareness. Recognizing the human cost of every single ruling.
That's that balance, right?
Yeah.
Maintaining your objectivity, but also acknowledging that weight.
Right.
You're upholding the law, but you also understand the impact it has. It's a tough,
It's a tough job.
it's a tough job.
No wonder this whole path is so demanding.
Oh, yeah.
And not just, like, intellectually, but emotionally, too. And, the RoleCatcher guy doesn't shy away from any of that.
Yeah.
But they also highlight something that we often, I think, forget to talk about,
Right.
which are the rewards.
Yeah.
And I'm not just talking about, like, the salary and the benefits.
Right. Which, I mean, let's be real.
Yeah.
Those are pretty nice.
Oh, those are pretty good. But,
But it's more than that.
it's got to be more than that, right?
Yeah. It's like woven into the job itself,
Yeah.
The chance to shape legal precedent, maybe even influence policy, making sure that justice is served. I mean, that's got to be a pretty powerful motivator.
It's got to be. It's like you're leaving your mark right.
Cool.
You're contributing to something so much bigger than just you. And RoleCatcher points out another kind of perk I thought was interesting, which is the stability.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, look, there's always going to be a need for qualified legal professionals.
Right. I mean, laws aren't going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere.
If anything, there's just going to be more.
Exactly. So that inherent stability,
Yeah.
I mean, that can be a big draw.
Oh, absolutely. Especially for those who want, a real career,
Yeah.
something long term.
And the guide really maps out, like, that potential beautifully. They have, like, a whole section where they literally outline the progression from those, like, entry-level positions all the way to the very top. They're showing you, like, how the responsibilities even change at each stage.
It shows you how much work it really is.
Right.
It's not
Right.
just like, you graduate law school and then boom, you're on the Supreme Court.
Right. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Exactly.
And it's not just about, like, courtroom experience either, right?
Right.
RoleCatcher talks a lot about the networking aspect.
Oh, yeah, huge.
Attending legal conferences, even, like, publishing articles. So it's also about building your reputation.
It's all about who what they think of you, all
It's
that.
becoming, like, a thought leader almost.
You gotta be in the game.
And that's where I think these platforms like RoleCatcher and others, that's where they come in.
Totally.
Because they're giving, like, these aspiring legal professionals the tools and resources and even, like, the connections to, really navigate this field.
Yeah.
It's like having a virtual mentor.
I was just thinking that.
Right. Guiding you from, like, how to make your CV amazing to, like, those scary interview questions. And let's not forget, like, the RoleCatcher guide even has AI-powered CV analysis.
Oh, wow.
So you're, like, getting personalized feedback. You can see where your skills shine, all, like, tailored to the job you want.
That's amazing.
It is really cool. But it kind of makes you wonder, with all this tech, is the human element becoming obsolete?
That's a good question. I don't think so at all. In fact, if anything, the guide really stresses the human importance.
Okay.
They talk about mentorship a lot, like actually reaching out, getting guidance from, experienced judges, other legal professionals, because AI can analyze data and, offer insights, but it's the human connection. It's that wisdom that's like passed down. That's what really shapes a judge's perspective.
It's like finding that balance, right?
Exactly.
You're using the efficiency, the insights from tech, but you're not forgetting about human experience, about that mentorship aspect.
It's about using every tool you have,
Right.
the tech ones and the human ones.
So to kind of, like, bring it all together for our listener, right? Let's say someone's listening to this. They're interested in a legal career.
Yeah.
Maybe they even have that, like, Supreme Court dream.
Yeah.
What would you say is, like, the big takeaway?
I would say, honestly, that even the most, prestigious, the most intimidating seeming careers, they all have a path. It's about knowing what skills you need, how much work it'll take, and just, how the legal world is changing.
Right.
But the most important thing is just to start. Take that first step.
I like that.
Because even if you never make it to, the Supreme Court, that pursuit of knowledge, that commitment to justice, those are their own rewards.
That's a great point. And hey, who knows? Maybe one day one of our listeners will be the one you know,
Putting on the robe.
putting on that robe, yeah.
Yeah.
And like shaping laws for everyone.
We'll be here to say we called it.
Exactly. But until then, just one final thought to leave you with. If AI is already changing how we think about legal jobs, if it can match people's skills to their like dream career, what else could it do?
Oh, that's a good question.
Could it like shape legal arguments? Could it even like help judges make those big decisions? It's something to think about. It really shows how much the law is changing in this like digital world.